Welcome back to Game Talk from the Bench. I'm your host, Drew Barreto. Today I'm here with my co-host, my uncle, Andrew Barreto. We might have a guest joining us, but he's having a little bit of trouble, or technical difficulties, I should say. So he might join later in the episode. But today we're talking NFL. Well, not much NFL news. We're talking a little bit about the Cowboys and the Falcons. They extend their franchise tight end. We'll talk about that. Multiple trades going down in the NBA right before the draft. And obviously the draft is actually live right now. So we'll talk about how the draft is so far. In the MLB is our weekly standings update, as well as we have another cycle and some MLB news. We have a little bit of Formula One news as it is race week, and then we'll end off with our World Cup update. But starting us off, talking about the Cowboys. Dak Prescott says playoffs are a minimum expectation for Cowboys in 2026. Obviously, a very down year for the Cowboys. They finished 7-9-1 this past season. Had one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the league. Unfortunately, their defense was also the worst, and so now, they'll have Quinnen Williams for a year. Hopefully, a healthy team coming into the season. They have George Pickens is back, C.D. Lamb, obviously Dak. They extended their running back, and so I said it before. When this Cowboys team has the talent, and they have a lot of talent. Oh, here he is, and they should be playoffs. They should be in the playoffs. I mean, it's just no
Yeah,
doubt about them being in the playoffs. They have the talent. I think Dak Prescott, when he's healthy, when he's playing, is an MVP candidate. Their defense just needs to get it figured out, and if they do, they could be a dangerous team. Like I said, best offense in the league last year. Downside, their defense was the worst, and so you get that defense figured out, and they're a dangerous team.
yeah, that's something we talk about plenty of times. Is their offense is they're loaded. They have a bunch of weapons and they can put a lot of points on the board. But like you mentioned that just now, the defense was the issue, and I would think as long as Jerry Jones is the owner of the Cowboys, that it's playoffs and Super Bowl or bust, and then just um, so yeah, I'm not surprised by Dak Prescott's his goals already, or his as talk in general around probably in a lot of locker rooms in the NFL, but especially the Cowboys, since they're supposed to be America's team and held to higher standard, I guess, for lack of better words. But we got to play the games.
Yeah, exactly. And Joe, we talked about how the Cowboys believe, or Dak Prescott says the Cowboys should be a minimum playoff team. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, they should. I don't think they are. Um, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just don't think that their defense is up to par. I heard you guys talking right now. The defense isn't that great. I know they made some moves, and they got the couple D linemen that are great, but it's like the Cowboys have always been an offensive team, and with Jerry Jones, it's like I don't know. They always do the offense. They don't ever focus on defense. And for me, it's just like, well, you're not going to always win with offense. You know, you find a team that has great defense and a good offense, and you're done. So, in my opinion, and Dak Prescott, I mean, just not the quarterback that he should be. He's a great quarterback during the season, but when it comes playoff time, he doesn't show up. So, I mean, I guess they do make the playoffs, but I don't know. I just don't see them as a contender.
Well, I agree. Mostly they do focus on offense. However, this year in the draft, they did focus a lot on defense. With their first round pick 11, they drafted the safety Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. Then they drafted an edge with the 23rd pick of the draft, and they did more defense than offense in the draft. But they just because they draft people doesn't necessarily going to turn around the defense. But I agree. I remember the few times that the Cowboys would play the Niners in the playoffs. Obviously, the Niners back when they did play the Cowboys in the playoffs, were the better team and the powerhouse of the NFC, and they did come up short. And yes, he has not performed well in the playoffs, but hopefully things turn around. And like I said, because when he, like you said, in the regular season, he's phenomenal. Like I said, we had the best offense in the league, and I think they are a playoff team. Don't know how far they'll go, but I agree with Dak. They should be a minimum playoff team because they have the talent to do so. But moving on to our next NFL news is tight end Kyle Pitts and the Falcons agreed to a 3-year, $54 million contract extension. So instead of playing on the franchise tag this year, he'll be playing on his new contract. It's got $36 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons, and good for Kyle Pitts. He's coming off his best season. He's going to average $18 million per year on his new deal. And that's good for the Falcons as well. They extended Drake London. Now they extended their tight end. He was the 4th overall pick in the 2021 draft, so it's kind of like you kind of want to keep him, Bijan, and London together, and that's what they're doing. And his rookie campaign, he had 1,000 yards, and he's been great. He's been really good. He was really solid this past season. He not the numbers that he had produced in college, but obviously well enough to get him his extension. And like I said, it's good. You want with the QB being either Tua or Michael Penix, you want to have as many offensive weapons as possible. Now, will Tua or Penix be the franchise guy? I don't think so. But either way, whoever your quarterback is, you want to have the weapons. I think Kyle Pitts is a phenomenal tight end. He's got big size, great speed. And then you have Drake London and Bijan Robinson. I think it's a great deal for both for Pitts and the Falcons, and it's good to see Kyle Pitts. Like I said, I always love when teams keep their drafted players.
Yeah, keeping their youth too. They're just locking in their younger players there, and just throwing around crazy money, right? Historic money. To Drake London and then Kyle Pitts Sr. It's one of those things. Yeah, who's going to be the quarterback, right? They just got Kyler Murray, who's more experienced than Michael Penix, and Penix is coming off. I believe he was injured, right?
ACL, yes.
Okay, yeah. So she's pretty major setback there. So we'll see. I mean, so it's Tua. Okay, Tua. I got the. But yeah, they're just locking up their youth and hoping that they get some chemistry going on there with one of those quarterbacks and then they start winning some ball games.
Yeah, that's a great signing for Atlanta. I've always liked Michael Pitts. He's great. He's actually I think he played school at Pittsburgh at college, so. He's been good. He's a great talent. I mean, he's only behind. I think his contract's only behind Kittle and I think McBride. I think it's McBride. I'm not sure. So he's definitely earned it. Like I said, they got London signed and him, and now all their focus can be on Bijan now because he's gonna need that contract extension after this season. So. I think Penix is the guy. They brought in Tua as a backup, I believe. But, they're both left-handed, so I think that the structure won't change for the receivers and tight end so that if Penix goes down, they got Tua coming in. And, I think they're both great quarterbacks. Good quarterbacks. They're not great yet, so... But I like Penix, and I think Penix is. I think this is definitely going to help Penix and boost the confidence, boost the morale in that team. So it should be good.
Yeah, it looks like Atlanta's trying to find their next Michael Vick, right? Going double lefties, trying to find that guy from the 2000s, and so yeah, we'll see how it is. We'll see who ends up being the quarterback and whatnot.
Say, is that the last time they had success? But they had a Matt Ryan era, right?
They did have a Matt Ryan era, and they did go to the Super Bowl, and they did blow a 28-3 lead. So we won't talk about that for too long. I know Atlanta fans, Atlanta fans don't love to hear that, but yeah. So we'll see what direction the Falcons are going to go. They're probably in a little bit of a rebuild year, I'd say, especially with the questions at quarterback. But like you said, Bijan, He's in the next on the contract extension, and he will get a handful. It's a good thing the salary cap goes up every year because he's gonna get a lot of money. But moving on to the NBA, we had a few trades. Before we talk about the big one, we'll talk about the surprising one. I'd say the Minnesota Timberwolves traded for Julius Randle and the number 20th pick in the NBA draft to the Brooklyn Nets in a three-team deal. So the Nets acquired Randle and the 20th pick. Minnesota acquired the number 33, the 33rd overall pick, and I might be pronouncing this wrong. Gaye, who's a forward, and then the Chicago Bulls acquired Nick Claxton from the Nets, and out of the blue. However, like you said before, Andrew, the Timberwolves upset. They saw Cat win the ring, and they said, you know what, let's get rid of the guy that we traded him for. And for them, it was just to clear money. They ended up extending Ao Dosumu to a contract extension. I don't have that pulled up right in front of me as of now, but they obviously felt that they need to do a addition by subtraction, and so they get rid of Randle. They get rid of his 15 shots per game and his ISO one-on-one ball, and hopefully they're hoping it gets guys like Jaden McDaniels and Nas Reed more shots and whatnot. And I felt Randall Wood did hold the team back a little bit. He did show. I mean, not this past playoffs, but the year before, he really dominated the Golden State Warriors, and then he disappeared in the Western Conference Finals against the Thunder, and so he just was never consistent enough for them. And yeah, it was very surprising for me. I think the Bulls are a real winner of this draft. They get Nick Claxton. They get a great center, by honestly not giving up anything, if all. The Bulls only sent the forward Mo Guaye, and they got Nick Claxton back. So yeah, for the Nets, they get a power forward. They're on the youth side. Obviously, Julius Randle isn't part of that timeline, but it's a veteran guy that they get. They've done things like this in the past where they'll bring a little bit of veteran leadership into the locker room. But yeah, no, this was a very out of the blue trade, and to be honest, I don't think. It impacts the Timberwolves the most. We'll see what they do. Like I said, they did extend Ao Dosumu. He was phenomenal for them in the playoffs when he was healthy. And the Julius Randle trade just didn't end up working out for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I think it just went under the radar, just because of the Giannis trade. But yeah, he didn't show up in this playoffs, and I think that was ultimately the last straw there. And he went, like you said, last year 21.7 points to dropping all the way to 16 points a game, where they see those other guys you mentioned step it up during the playoff time, Jaden McDaniels, and then the other guys you mentioned. And then it didn't hurt that Cat Towns ended up getting a ring, a guy that they traded for to exchange to get Julius Randle. But it is also like you mentioned, a salary dump. He was owed a lot of money, over $30 million, and to get you 16 points. He was supposed to be, that second option on the team, second, third option after Anthony Edwards, and it just didn't work out. And looks like, watch out for the Timberwolves, see who they add to their roster to help Anthony Edwards get to the that next level in the playoffs.
The first thing I want to say is, why didn't the Warriors go after this guy? I like Julius Randle. I think it's a good pickup for the Nets. I don't even like Brooklyn, but that was a good move. So I expect a lot, that he's going to do a lot out there. He was a great addition for Minnesota. I know you said that his play was down, but we'll see what Minnesota does this next season without him. So I know you said they have Nas Reed and all stepping up, but it's just like, Nas Reed's not Julius Randle, not in my opinion. I don't even think he's close.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I really do like Julius Randle, and I wish the Warriors would have went after him and got him and added him with Steph, because Steph's almost done anyway. So why wouldn't you want to add a nice power forward to help out Steph? And I know you have Porzingis, and you need to resign him, but this just would have been a great move for the Warriors, and I'm very disappointed that they didn't go after him. But it's a great move for the Nets. So that's all
Yeah,
I gotta say.
I think for the Warriors, I think the biggest thing is money. They're obviously, with Curry getting paid 50 million and all the contracts that they have, they just don't have the salary cap, I believe, for it. And obviously, you could have dumped some guys. Obviously Jimmy Butler's still on the roster, but he's coming back from ACL injury. I do agree the Warriors. I don't know if I would have said the Warriors need to go and get Julius Randle, but I do believe the Warriors. I mean, they still can. Don't know if they will, especially with them already using their draft pick. But I do believe the Warriors should have tried and should try to move off Jimmy Butler, especially because he's going to be out and coming back from a knee injury that's so severe. And so, with all of his money on the books, it's kind of tough. Like you said, Steph Curry, only has a few years left, and the Warriors are in a win now situation. So, but we'll talk about the Warriors a little more when we get to their draft pick. But yeah, very surprising trade. Good for, I guess, all teams around, maybe besides Minnesota. It's kind of hard to judge. I always say it's always hard to judge a trade when it first happens. You got to wait a couple seasons. And so, but this next trade I'm going to judge right away. It's the Giannis trade. The Bucks trading Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Heat. Well, hold on. Bucks traded Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Hawkins Jr., Kasparis Jucosionis, and 3 first-round picks, including number pick 13 of the draft right now, and 1 pick swap, and 1 second-round pick. And to me, it looks like Giannis just wants to just enjoy the rest of his playing days. Because going to the Heat, to me, is not a team that's going to win a championship within the next 5 years. Yeah, they have Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins, but that ain't more than enough. Even if you add Giannis into the lineup, it's not more than enough to win a championship. And when I saw he went to the Heat, I mean, I saw all the signs indicating he was going to probably stay in the Eastern Conference. There's just a head scratcher for me. Because like I said, if he really wanted to win, he would have tried to push himself to a contender. And I don't see the Heat as a contender now. Maybe they go out and do more, but they just traded half their team for Giannis plus more. For the Bucks, I think it's great. You get young guard and Tyler Hero. You get a center in Khalil. Well, Jaime Hawkins, his rookie year was phenomenal. A little bit of a down year this past year. And then you get 3 first-round picks, including obviously the pick today. And so I think this was great for the Bucks. As for Miami, I mean, you get a 31-year-old Giannis. Now, I'm not saying Giannis is bad, right? Like I said, I just don't think the Heat have the team to win the title.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they, when he gets traded, it's not one of those. It doesn't sound like one of those teams where you say, "Hey, you got to watch out." They just made one of those big 3, part of those big teams that we all know about, like a Kevin Durant, with Curry teaming up kind of thing, or I don't know, LeBron James and D Wade kind of thing. It's just like, okay, they have Giannis and Bam, and then it's going to be tough after that, right? It's already changing the landscape, though, of the East. I mean, they went from being their title odds were, I think it was like 40-1, and now they jumped up to top 5. After the Spurs, Thunder, Celtics, Knicks, and now the Heat. So Vegas are already jumping on that, but yeah, I mean, whenever you lose, NBA champion, MVP, 2-time. Most valuable player, 10-time All-Star. It's just like I don't see how that could be a positive thing for the Bucks, but they did get quite a bit. Now we'll have to wait and see if any of this turns into something. It's like you see right off the bat, you got Giannis and Bobby Portis, and Bucks received Tyler Hero. That's what I see right off the bat. But we'll see. He was obviously unhappy. Maybe, like you said, maybe he just wants to enjoy playing basketball. It does not work. He's got all the other accolades. I mean, he's one of the top 75 players, he was voted in of all time, and he's got, the rings and the hardware. And yeah, maybe he just wanted to relax in Miami and go to the beach, or I don't know. But tough one for me. I mean, I would think the Heat win this. And the Bucks will just have to play that waiting game to see if any of those guys turn into a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I believe the Bucks possibly could have won this trade. I do agree with Andrew that we have to see who plays out. No one's a proven player. Tyler Hero, he is. So that was definitely a good pickup for Milwaukee. If they got someone who's proven, who I think he scored more than 20 points a game last year. So, he's definitely good. Is he great? Well, we'll see. He's still kind of young, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, he's no Giannis, but there was rumors that they were gonna Boston was gonna go after him, and they were gonna give up Jaylen Brown, and that definitely would have been a good pickup for Milwaukee because Jaylen Brown he's a proven talented. Gosh, I love Jaylen Brown. He's great. So, I think they should have made that pickup, but I guess it was only, I think, 1 or 2 first-round picks, and that's it. But, you get Jaylen Brown. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I think Miami's getting Giannis, and I don't see Miami going anywhere. Like Drew said, they got rid of half their team. So, the team that took them to the playoffs is now it's dismantled. So,
And
what are they going to do now?
And more to that, they were barely. I know Tyler Hero was injured a good amount of the season, but they were barely a playing team with Bam. Now, granted, yes, Bam did get injured in their playing games, but it's like I don't know. I just don't see it. I think Giannis wanted to join Miami Beach and whatnot. Talking about Boston potential trading Jaylen Brown. I think that opens the door for. I love to talk about the Warriors because obviously why not? I'm a Warriors fan. Warriors obviously tried to go for Giannis for multiple years, never got him, but the hometown kid, Jaylen Brown, could potentially see his way in the Bay. I've seen things where it's like if the Celtics try to backstab him and trade him for Giannis, could he force his way to Golden State? Who knows? I would love Jaylen Brown in Golden State. You need a bridge player for when Steph Curry retires, and the Warriors are still looking for that bridge player. But yeah, no, big trade. I like it more for Milwaukee. I just don't see. People could say, "Oh, Bam's a superstar," but in my eyes, Bam's not really a superstar. Him and Giannis kind of do the same thing, and so I don't know. To me, I like
Yeah,
this for Milwaukee. They build on
I
their
would,
future.
I would have thought, if Jaylen Brown went to the Bucks, then that elevates the Bucks. That would have been more of an interesting trade because, yeah, Jaylen Brown, he's another All-Star guy, championship, MVP as well, right? Didn't he get MVP of that finals? I
He
thought
did.
he
He
did,
did. He
right?
did get
So
that
he's
MVP of the
got
finals.
yeah, he's a really good player, and I would think that if the Celtics made a move, which of course it's over with now, but then that seemed like a more interesting trade, and I would have said like, okay, the Bucks who didn't make the playoffs are automatically now going to be in the playoffs and possibly threaten the rest of the teams in the top six. Where this one, like you said, Miami just barely made the play-in. And I don't. Of course, you get this Giannis, but Giannis is he. What did he play? Like he missed 3/4 of the season last year with his knee issue. He had a hypertension.
Yeah, he was having some, I think, like calf and back problems, things like that.
Yeah, so I
So
mean, that's going to play into how well Miami plays too. So I mean, because if he's sitting down all these games, then who's going to pick them up? Davian Mitchell, or it's just going to be tough there. And I think, yeah, to get a guy like that, you have to just give up so much, And it's going to be tough for Miami, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, maybe it's a new scenery, like you said, and he ends up not now his knee feels great, and now he's playing 80 games, and but yeah, apparently, this multiple MVPs. I don't know if you saw this. It's happened, several times throughout the history. Giannis being the most recent, and then you have 2012 Steve Nash. He was a two-time MVP that was traded to the Lakers. Before that, LeBron James traded 2010, went to the Heat. And then you got a couple older guys, Moses Malone. It happened to him a couple times. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Milwaukee Bucks. They did it again. Traded a two-time MVP to the Lakers. and then to rounds off, the Will Chamberlain was traded to the Lakers too, and so a little history there of trading double MVPs.
Yeah, so it's interesting. But yeah, it was a very we've seen it coming. All the reports coming out. It was only inevitable. Um, Wish they could have pulled some Luka Doncic magic and got him to Golden State because Steph Curry's a star of the league. I'd say the face of the league. Um, but they only do it for LeBron, but that's okay. But yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, like I said, you can't really judge a trade when it happens. You gotta wait a couple years, if that. Maybe you could judge it off the first year, like you did with the Luka trade. But yeah, so very big trade in the NBA. Oh my goodness, I got rid of my draft thing. But now we'll talk about the NBA draft. It is still currently going on. It's kind of crazy. It started at 5 o'clock and it's still not over. But Wizards, what kind of? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch college ball. I can't tell you who's great and who's not. But we could just go through the picks. AJ Dabansta. I do know of him. He is a really good player for BYU. He goes number one to the Wizards. Wizards did. We talked about it last week. Me and Andrew did. Trae Young opted. He opted out of his deal, and then he signed a big 4-year, I believe, $240 million extension, if I'm not mistaken. So Trae Young, AJ Labansta, and then obviously they do have Anthony Davis and all the young players, and so Wizards could be a dark horse team to go to the playoffs. Maybe shoot, they might even be better than the Bucks. That might be a reach. Not the
I
Bucks,
think
the Heat.
that
I mean, the Heat with Giannis. But yeah, so AJ Labansta goes number one. Darren Peterson, the guard from Kentucky, goes to not Kentucky, Kansas, goes to Utah. Cameron Boozer, the Duke forward, goes third to Memphis. UNC forward Caleb Wilson goes to the Bulls. Keaton Wagler, the guard of Illinois, goes fifth to the Clippers. Michael Brown Jr., guard of Louisiana, goes to the Nets. Darius Acuff Jr. is a guard from Arkansas. He went to Sacramento. Guard Kingston Flemings from Houston is heading to Atlanta. Forward Morris Johnson Jr. is joining his head coach at Michigan in Dallas. I forget his name, but the Michigan head coach, or former Michigan head coach, is now the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh yeah.
Dusty May. Dusty May is the new head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, former head coach of Michigan, who just won the national championship. He reunites with his former player, or with his player, Morris Johnson Jr. Braden Burries, guard of Arizona, goes to Milwaukee. That's Milwaukee's pick. Yaxel Ledenberg, forward from Michigan, is going to Golden State, and obviously we're Warriors fans, so we're going to talk about this pick. Don't know much about him. He's a national champion. He is going to be 24. However, he is a plug-in now player. He's a guy that the Warriors can put in probably day one, to be honest. He's 6'9", so he's size. He's a wing. He could play D. He could score the ball. Kind of what the Warriors were needing. Warriors were contemplating on trading the pick and trying to get a guy like Trey Murphy. So they don't end up trading the pick. They get a guy like Lenenberg. They get Yaxel Lenenberg, 6'9", 240, and for me, I think it's a good pick. Like I said, he is going to be 24, so he's a little bit older, but like we said not too long ago, but Steph Curry having limited time left, they're in win now mode, so they try to get themselves a win now player, and I think it's good for the team. Don't know if you two have any thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Steve Kerr pick, I would think. I mean, a lot of the guys who went before him were, I mean, especially the top five, I believe they were freshmen.
Yeah, a lot of freshmen being drafted.
And then then he comes up, and now he's 24, championship pedigree, and someone like you said, he could fill in and start giving some minutes to the Warriors ASAP, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone to contribute now, rather than hopefully in the future too. I mean, 24 is still young, but in this draft, he was like the older guy. I like it, but out of these drafts, you have to see how it plays out. The Warriors had just like they played Will Richard. He was a champion too, another champion with Florida the year before. he had a lot of play, and I think he started several games for the Warriors too last
Yeah.
year, and over Kaminga at some point. And then as the season went on, and then the plan, they just chose not to go with the younger talent there. But yeah, no, I like the draft pick, and everything's sounding good right now. We just have to see how he contributes this coming season.
Joe, any thoughts?
Yeah, the pick. I honestly, actually, I wanted to see the next pick in the draft was to
Uh,
OKC. Is that correct?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
Adai Mar. Yeah, I did see the
And
7-3
that's
center.
who I wanted to get, and I don't know why we didn't go after him. Especially we don't know what seeing as is happening. And yeah, he's not a proven player, and he's not 24 years old. But I mean, with every draft pick, besides maybe the top three, I don't know. We don't know if they're gonna even do anything in the league. You know what I mean? So the guy we got just kind of honestly reminds me of I guess you could say, a youngest Julius Randle, but Julius Randle's already proven. We know he could play the game. We don't know if this guy can play in the NBA. You know, he's 6'9", like I said, I think he's 260, two
Yeah.
fifty around there. So that's good. But I mean, can he ball in the NBA? You know, we'll find out, and I hope I'm wrong, but I wanted the pick after that, the 7-3 center.
And speaking of the pick to the Thunder, I think the Thunder got a little bit of PTSD. They wanted someone to hopefully stop Victor Wembanyama. Um, and I also think for the Warriors, they just kind of had PTSD from when drafting James Wiseman, the 7-1 center. And so for them, they probably thought about it and was like, geez, last time we drafted a 7-foot center, second overall pick, just came right back at us. And so I agree with you. Warriors have lack size. I do think they bring back Porzingis. We all know he's a 7-foot, guy. I think they bring back Al Horford as well. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, I know. So um, Adey Mara, he goes 12th to the Thunder. They're hoping he could stop Wembanyama. We'll see how that is. Nate Ahmet, forward of Tennessee, goes 13th to the Heat. Well, he's actually going to Milwaukee. Haynes Steinbach is a forward from Washington. He's going to the Hornets. Guard Dalen Swain from Texas is going to, I believe, Portland. No, he's going to Chicago. Guard Bennett Sturz of Iowa is heading to the Timberwolves. Ibuka Okori, guard from Stanford, is heading to OKC. But that pick was actually traded to Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Christian Anderson Jr., guard from, where is he from? TTU, Texas Tech, is heading to the Hornets at pick 18. And Santa Clara's own Alan Graves,
There it is.
forward Alan Graves from Santa Clara, is heading to Toronto. Santa Clara's third first-round pick since 2022. So what is it called? My alum? No. My school,
Alma
I
mater.
would say. My
Your-
alma
yeah.
mater, even though I
There you
haven't
go.
graduated yet. My alma mater. Their basketball program been great. That's their, like I said, third first-round pick in the past 4 years. So good for him. I really enjoyed watching him play. Honestly, was super surprised when he was going to the entering the draft, and then obviously being invited to the green room. So obviously, team saw that he had the talent. He played really good in their March Madness game against Kentucky, and great for him, great for the school. It's awesome to see. Moving on though, forward Jaden Quintance from Kentucky. He's going 20th to the Spurs. Kareem Lopez, forward from Mexico, is going to Memphis. LeBaron Filan Jr., guard of Alabama, is going to the Sixers, and the current last pick, Zuby Ejiofor, forward from St. John's, is going 23rd overall to Atlanta. So, draft is still currently on. It's been taking quite some time. I feel like the NFL draft is quicker, but that's Adam Silver for you. But moving us on to MLB is our weekly standings update. in the AL East, I talked about it last week. Yankees, they are topped of the AL East now. They overtook the Rays. Yankees are 47-31. Rays are 43-33. White Sox, the Samurai White Sox are 40-37. They're at the top of the AL Central. However, the Guardians are right behind them. And then the Mariners are at the top of the AL West. Behind them is the Athletics. And the National League, Braves no longer best record in baseball, although they're close. They're 48-29. The Phillies, the red hot Phillies, as in the past 10, they've been okay, but 42-36, they are second place. The Brewers are the top of the National League Central. They're 47-29, followed by the Cardinals, who are 42-34. And then the Dodgers are 50-29, best record in baseball, obviously expected. And the Padres are second behind them at 40-37. So no big surprises there. As for the news, Twins general manager shuts down Byron Buxton trade rumors. So it looks like the star center fielder, who's been phenomenal this year, is going to stay in Minnesota, but never say never. Sandy Alcantara etches his name in the Marlins history with his 1,002nd career strikeout. And then over in Philadelphia, what's his name? Bryce Harper hits a cycle in 5 innings. A little bit of a controversial triple to some people, but cycles don't happen often. It was cool. But the big question is, what was more impressive? Bryce Harper's cycle or Kyle Schwarber's 3-run home run game? I mean, Kyle Schwarber, he's been phenomenal. I believe he's already at 29 home runs so far this year. We're not even halfway through the season. But yeah, so great day for the Phillies. Like I said, they've been hot. Yeah, cycle. We just had Pete Crow Armstrong cycle. Now we have Bryce Harper, his first of his career. So it was exciting. Joey, any thoughts on both either Harper or Schwarber?
To be honest with you, I'd say the cycle's harder to hit than 3 home runs. I'm not saying 3 home runs is easy to hit, because it's not, especially on one game. So it's definitely not hard. I mean, easy. So, definitely give props to Schwarber for banging those 3 home runs. That's definitely something that's very, very hard to do. But, in this day and age, it's a lot easier than back in the day, because I just saw this thing on YouTube with Barry Bonds, and he said once you hit 2 home runs, after you hit that second home run, you're getting a pitch to the head. So, this day and age is a lot different, but I do think the cycle is definitely harder to hit. So I got to give Bryce Harper his credit. Credit's due. I don't like the guy, but cycle is definitely harder, so we'll go with Harper on that one.
Now, Schwarber, like I said, he's at 29 home runs so far in this season. You think he could get close to breaking any records over there in Philadelphia?
He can. Might as well get him tested. Get him tested now. Because, what's going on over there? All of a sudden, hitting his home runs.
I was just going to say, all of a sudden, you got to urinate that guy. Let's check it out.
He's been phenomenal. He's been a great hitter. But hey, he could go for the MVP this year. Now, granted, he is mostly just a designated hitter, but with Shohei Ohtani not hitting the way he's usually hitting, and he's actually been struggling on the pitching side, Schwarber could be looking for his first MVP. Would love it. I think he's a great guy, great hitter. But yeah, he's at 20. He did leave the game with the injury actually recently, but he's at 29 home runs, and I believe the record is. Good question. You two know the record is 74, 73?
Oh my gosh.
73.
73. Okay.
73.
He's got a little over half a season to get about 40.
Who's holding the record? I remember they had asterisks.
I believe it's McGuire.
No, it's Barry Bonds.
Is it Barnes?
Yeah,
is that still the one Barry Bonds holding the record? It was McGuire, then Bonds, and I thought Aaron Judge did something.
It was Sosa, and then it was McGuire, and then Bonds broke them both.
Let's see. It's Barry Bonds. Yeah, it's at 73. McGuire was at 70, and then Sammy Sosa before was at 66.
Yep.
So hey, he needs to hit It might be crazy. He needs to hit
Yeah.
45 more to take it. Who knows? He might cool
Aaron
off,
Judge,
but
yeah, I'm looking at it right here. Aaron Judge had 62 in 2022.
we
That
all know
was
Cal Raleigh last year had 60 with the
okay.
Mariners.
And
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Barry Bonds 73. That was something else. So I doubt that gets touched, man. That was a crazy year. Just him knocking the ball flat out.
And remember, he got over 300 walks or over 200 walks that year too. So
Yeah,
We'll
intentional
yeah.
see.
walks,
We'll
I believe.
we'll
And
see how.
that's not pitching to him either.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez, that's
And so
crazy.
we'll see how high Schwarber, if he does at all get to 60 plus, he'll climb the list. But yeah, it's been impressive nonetheless. But real quick, it is race week in Formula One. We are in Austria, so we have the Austrian Grand Prix. We'll see how that goes. But to end us off, World Cup. No, neither of you are soccer guys. Don't know if you've been following. I've been trying to follow as much as I can.
I've been
But
following.
you've been following?
Yeah.
Good. I can talk to you. First, I'll start off with the goal leaders. Messi, he became the all-time leading scorer in the World Cup. He currently has 5 goals this tournament. Second place is actually tied. It's Erling Haaland from Norway. He's at 4, and Kylian Mbappe is also at 4. But moving on to the groups. Group A, Mexico is moving on. They won their first game against South Africa, and then they beat South Korea 1-0. Very close game. South Korea Mexico is moving on. They're the first team to go to the round of 32. South Korea, though, if they draw or win against South Africa, they will also move on. I believe if Czechia can move on, both Czechia and South Africa can move on, but I think South Korea beats South Africa and they will move on. Canada
I
hasn't
believe
moved
they're
on
moving
yet.
on.
Are they? They might be. They're currently at 4 points, but Bosnia and Qatar are both at 1 point. However, Canada and Switzerland, they are top of um their group. They tied their first game and they won their second. Group C, Brazil and Morocco are both at the top of their groups. However, Scotland's at 3 points. They won their first game and they lost 1-0 to Morocco. So Scotland still has to play Brazil. And Haiti did get eliminated.
Yep.
And in Group D, Team USA beat Australia 2-0 without Christian Pulisic. They are moving on to round of 32. They are coming down to the Bay Area July 1st. I'll be there, but not for the game.
Working.
Australia is at 3 points, but so is Paraguay. And those two play on Thursday. So winner of Australia and Paraguay, or potentially if they tie, goes to the goal differential. And right now Australia has a better goal differential.
Yep.
But if Paraguay wins, they will move on. Turkey, Turkey, pronounce that correctly. They are eliminated. They lost both their games. In Group E, Germany moving on. They already have 6 points. They won their first 2 games. They almost got upset by Ivory Coast. However, Ivory Coast is second. They got 3 points. However, Ecuador and Curacao, who tied. Shout out Curacao. They've been playing great. Besides, obviously, their 7-1 loss to Germany. They played great against Ecuador. Both those two teams could potentially. Ecuador plays Germany. But if Curacao ends up beating Ivory Coast, they will move on. But Ivory Coast has been playing well. In Group F, Netherlands and Japan are tied at 4 points apiece, but Sweden is at 3 points. Japan will play Sweden. Netherlands is going to play Tunisia, but Tunisia is not a good team. We all know Netherlands is usually around a 16 squad. So I'm assuming Netherlands is going to win and move on, and the main matchup will come between Japan and Sweden. I'm not Japanese, but I will be rooting for Team Japan. In Group G, Egypt, their first time in the World Cup, they lead their group at 4 points. Mo Salah, they end up winning their second game against New Zealand. Iran and Belgium did tie. Belgium's at a risk of being eliminated in the group stage. Iran could potentially move on with the win over Egypt. No, Iran's playing New Zealand, I believe, next. Or Egypt, one of the two. I don't know. Too many games going on. I can't keep track. In Group H, Spain, they're at 4 points. They end up winning their last game against Saudi Arabia, they won, I want to say 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Lamine Yamal did play. He ended up scoring a goal. Uruguay tied with Cabo Verde, and they could be eliminated in the group stage because Uruguay is playing Spain next, and to me that is just scary, especially Spain coming off a win. I think Spain beats Uruguay, and I think Cabo Verde could upset Saudi Arabia and move on to round of 32. In Group I believe both France and Norway are moving on already. However, the two teams will play each other, obviously, no matter what, for the third game. Senegal and Iraq are both eliminated. Norway, like I said, I believe the first time in the tournament. Erling Haaland have been a fun team to watch. I love their celebration of the rowing. Um, it's been cool. Sucks that they're not playing in Minnesota at the Vikings Stadium. That'd be pretty cool to hear the Vikings horn go off when they would
Right.
score a goal, but that's okay. In Group J, Argentina is moving on. They are at 6 points. They won both their games. Messi scored 5 goals so far. I've talked about it. Austria, they won their first game against Jordan, lost against Argentina, but Austria will have to play Algeria, and the winner of that game, or if they tie, Austria would move on. But if Algeria wins, they would move on. So, big game 3 for Austria and Algeria. Jordan did get eliminated. They lost last night to Algeria 2-1 after leading 1-0 for a majority of the time. Group K, Portugal got a win this morning. They played Uzbekistan. Ronaldo, 2 goals. They won 5-0. Portugal looked like the team everyone thought they would look like after tying to the DR Congo. Colombia will play DR Congo. And so most
But
likely Colombia and Portugal will move on. And then finally in Group L, England draw to Ghana today. England,
saw that one.
beat Croatia 4-2. Ended up tying today. So both Ghana and England are at 4 points. Croatia ended up beating Panama, so they're at 3 points. Panama, I believe, is eliminated, so they won't be moving on. But yeah, Group L could get really interesting. If Ghana and Croatia will play, I think England will move on no matter what, unless somehow Panama upsets. But I don't see that happening. So, what games have you been watching, Joe?
I've been watching whatever I can watch when I get off of work. So I come home and I put that TV on, and the World Cup's only every 4 years, so I try to appreciate what I can. I haven't seen all the games, but that last group you mentioned, I called that one the group of death. They said it was Group I with Norway and France and Iraq and uh,
Belgium? Well, not Belgium. And Senegal.
Senegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the way that those two teams have been playing, I mean, France is in first right now because of the goal differential. So, like you said, that's a big game coming up. I can't wait. Two strikers that are fantastic. Probably the best players in the world right there. Those two of them right there. I definitely believe Mbappe is. Everyone's talking about Messi, and I'm not saying Messi isn't playing great because he is, but he's got a great team around him too that's helping him score easier. So I still think it's Mbappe. The greatest player in the world right now. So right now the U.S. is playing great. They got some big guys, which I love. They always used to have a small, shorter team, fast team, but now they have a fast, big team. So it's great to see. They played great against Australia, so I was happy with that. The only bad thing is, the next, round is going to be, we're going to be playing in group against Group C, and that's where Morocco and Brazil are at. So definitely going to be a big challenge for USA. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's been great watching. It's fun to see all the fans, like you said, the row. The row, like you said, the woo. You got to do the
Yeah.
sound effects, Drewski. Come on, man. You didn't do that.
Yeah,
But
no.
it's great. Holland, is it Holland? Is his name?
Yeah,
I
Erling
mean,
Haaland. Yeah.
he's playing phenomenal. It's his first World Cup, so I think he's 24 years old, I believe. So he's just playing phenomenal right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been great. All the fans coming to the US and even like Mexico and stuff, all coming together doing their thing. The Scotland fans doing their chants in the stadium. Yeah, it's been awesome. I've been enjoying watching the games. Yeah, I don't know who USA will play. I've seen a different number of teams. So we'll see who USA will play in the round of 32. We'll get our predictions when the round of 32 is finalized. So next week, we'll get our predictions and of who we think will win. Some round of 32 games will be played by then, but that's okay. But yeah, no, it's been great. Teams bringing their cultures over and supporting their teams. It's been phenomenal. The stadiums have been awesome. They look great. And I think it's been such a good time. Yeah, no, but
Mexico advancing.
Yeah.
To the round of 32, and today, Kareem Lopez, he's the first Mexican-born player to be selected in the NBA in the first round. So what a day for them.
Good day for the Mexicans. But yeah, no. So World Cup has been great. It's been phenomenal, like you said, watching it. And yeah, it's been amazing. Can't wait to continue watching it.
Did you guys hear? Sorry to interrupt you, Drewski, but Scotland, like you're talking about Scotland, they came to Patriots Stadium. And I don't know if you guys read this or not, and I read on ESPN.com, but you think you'd be prepared. The World Cup's coming up. You order a lot of stuff. Well, I guess there was some bars that didn't order enough beer, and the Scotland fans drank all the beer.
They drank all the beer. They drank all the beer,
except for Bud Light.
Yeah, except for Bud Light. I remember I saw the interview of the fan. He's like, "Yeah, we drank all the beer, and all they had was something called Bud Light." Yeah, no. It was great. Yeah, no, that.
As we speak. Oh
yeah,
man,
it's been great. It's been great seeing just everyone all over the world coming here. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I did see that. That is funny. It is awesome. But yeah, it's been great. It's great seeing the world all come together. But that is all for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'd like to thank my co-host, my uncle Andrew, for joining me today. I'd like to thank my other uncle, Uncle Joe, for being a guest today. We'll probably be back on, all three of us together next week. Talk more about the World Cup and any other news that pops up. But don't forget, episodes every Wednesday. Post on TikTok and Instagram. Our episodes are out on YouTube and Spotify. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, stay ready.